Mike Douglas is Michigan's retirement coach.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Mike talking about things you can be doing now in effort to better prepare for your financial future. LifePlanWealth.com is where you can go to begin your own conversation with Mike and his team. Again, that's LifePlanWealth.com. And today we're going to talk about bringing things back into focus, because if you could only be privy to the conversations that Mike and I get to have before we hit go on our podcasts, limited edition items,
the pre-show for the limited, it's really important. we should almost have a separate podcast of the limited conversations we're having off air.
Don't think I don't have that audio saved, sir.
Right?
Don't think because, there's nothing better than good blooper reels. And for people that are listening to this podcast just going, I can't wait to hear what Heather and Mike talk about in their blooper reels.
And I'm going to say, I'm going to say to them when they ask, mind your business.
Mind your business.
Right? Don't worry about it. Mind your business.
Oh, we digress already, sir.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about bringing into focus. Well, I mean, if you talk about stuff that's been brought into focus that hasn't been issues in many, many years prior to what we're dealing with, what we've dealt with in the past year or two, high inflation rates are back in fashion, unfortunately. Yep. Rocky markets after, a 12-year bull run we were on when we hit 2022?
It was basically, 2018 was slightly negative, but it was a real solid run. Basically 2009, March of 2009 to 2022.
Okay. Well, needless to say, there's just lots of question marks for a lot of people, particularly the folks that you work with closely, folks that are focusing on their retirement plan. I mean, all of these bumps and hiccups and things that we haven't dealt with in so long will shake a retiree to the core. It's like, hello, I wasn't planning on any of this. But what so many retirees show up on the doorstep of retirement with is their 401k in tow. I mean, it's probably the most utilized retirement planning tool, is it not?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the 401k is one of the greatest tools that has ever been created to basically automate savings, right? Like we always want to put savings in our bank account, but that requires us not to spend the money once it gets there. A 401k is a great tool because it's gone before you ever get it. And as long as you stick to that process, you have savings. So from that element, it's one of the greatest saving tools ever created, at least at the onset.
However, it does not come without its own bumps and faults. Right. And what's interesting is this is not new, the problems with 401ks. It's not new information, because there is a video of an old 60 Minutes interview from 10 years ago that is resurfacing online. It's titled "The Truth About 401ks." Correspondent Steve Croft was interviewing a financial planner named Brooks Hamilton, who had this to say.
The fact is that the typical 401k investor is a financial novice. They don't know a stock from a bond. And we give them a list of 20 or 30 mutual funds with really, really powerful names. They sound like, gee, that's where I want to have my money.
What are generally the quality of the mutual funds and 401k plans?
Mediocre. I'm be real honest with you. With half the funds on the list, really dogs, what people would characterize as dogs, shouldn't be on the list to start with.
Half the funds they're really dogs.
They're dogs.
Half the funds, though, are often what he was basically saying are not good.
Yeah. Well, when you look at a 401k plan, like he's mentioned, like Brooks is mentioning, it's putting the responsibility on you to take on a second career.
Right.
Can you become a financial advisor?
Right.
Can you specialize in a difficult field and build your whole successful retirement plan out of it? That's the challenge. So when they have these funds, the average 401k has about 20 to 30 funds that you can choose from. And what they do is they say, here's a blend. Here's some that would be considered bond funds. Here's some that are stable value. Here's some that are equities or whatever else. And do the best you can to be a financial advisor all of a sudden. And that's really unique because it's one of the only professional services in the world that we're expected to be basically the doctor or the dentist or the CPA, right? Like in a 401k, you are the professional service. Well, don't worry. We gave you a calculator. Okay. What else? Here's what those funds did last year. Right. But what are they going to do next year? No, we can't tell you that. All right. Well, are they the best thing out there? We can't tell you that. Are there funds like this that I should be in instead? Well, you can't access those. So you have these 30 funds. It's like walking into Walmart and they say, hey, you see this whole Walmart supercenter of everything out there. Yeah, this is so many things. Yep. Go to aisle 6, and on the left-hand side, halfway down, there's 2 little shelves, And on those shelves, you can choose anything you want, unlimited. But it's just those 2 shelves. But they say, well, we put a couple different things on there for you, so do the best you can. You go, wait a minute. How am I supposed to know if this is the best stuff out there? Well, this is what we're offering you. You don't have a say in whether you get a State Street fund, a Vanguard fund, or a Fidelity fund. You get whatever they put in that 401k. Right. And so you are definitely handcuffed to what they have. And like he says, I mean, in terms of comparisons, oftentimes these mutual funds are dogs compared to the ETF counterparts. You know, you can do a lot better in a self-directed account oftentimes than you can in a 401k.
Well, but then you miss the opportunity of company matches and things like that.
Right.
But let me go back real quick to the point of bringing up this old, as we were saying, this footage is 10 years old. Have things changed then in the last 10 years? From what you were just speaking to, I feel it hasn't changed that much.
I think it's a little harder in good years to identify the dogs.
Okay.
Because that phrase, rising tide floats all the boats.
Yeah.
And so when things are good across the board, you don't really care what the fee structure is. You don't really care about the comparables. It's kind of like when your bank account's doing really well and you're flush, you do not care about the cost of cable or anything else.
Right.
You say, oh, that's fine. It's fine. I'm not worried about it.
Right.
But then when the budget gets tight and you go line by line through your expenses, you're literally saying, do we need the trash picked up every week, or can we go every other week? Or, you know, should we cut our cable and maybe just stream? Or you start finding all these little ways to cut corners because now it's important to save money.
Got it.
In a 401k, they are just mutual funds that were selected by a fund company or by a third-party administrator. They're thrown in there. You have no options. So that has not changed, and the lack of diversity inside them have not changed. Now, it's a little easier today if you're willing to go do the research to get outside information about your 401k, but it's not right there in the plan. You have to be willing, again, to put the work in. You know, there's a lot of stuff I could do if I wanted to put the work to it. You know, I could figure out how to fix my car. Possibly. I could figure out how to do some construction work around my house, probably. I could figure out how to be a landscape architect if I wanted to commit my time and effort to learning it.
Yeah.
I basically would say, though, that's time away from my family or from my career to learn this other career.
Right.
In the same way, if you want to invest money, or invest time, I should say, into learning all the ins and outs of the 401k and the comparables and all the things you can do, then you could do that. But you're looking at a lot of uphill work to gather it all. So the 401ks, in terms of evolution, they don't evolve very much. The model is save, get your company to match, and then let compound interest do its thing and let the market do its thing. And it's true. That is the benefit. However, when you start looking at that versus what can be accomplished if it's being properly managed, and what you can do to cut the costs inside a plan so your returns, even on an identical investment, are significantly greater over time, these are the tools that we need to be using to make sure that our retirement is more in our control. You're also subject to, if you're the company you work for, if they change 401k plans, you don't get a say in that. You have to go wherever they send you.
Right.
And oftentimes what happens is with companies, they're approached, because we do 401ks for people. And so what we do is we go meet with someone and they say, can you guys facilitate our 401k plan? And we say, yeah, we'll do that for you. And we take it on. And as we're managing it for them, there's a shift. Like they have to bring all their stuff over to us. And that can become repapering or learning a new website and all of these things that go along with it. But for the individual, most times why does it happen? Because the company gets to cut their own cost, or they get to pass it on to the end user, the client, or the employee. So that's the challenge is inside a 401k, your options are pretty limited, but there are things you can do. There are strategies you can use to actually maximize your 401k. It's not that it's a dead end thing. Again, I've already said it's the best savings tool probably ever created. Now, the trick is to master it and find a way to let compound interest be that, the eighth wonder of the world that it is. And so you have to know the questions to ask, and you have to have the strategies involved. If people go to lifeplanwealth.com, there's a button on there that says start your retirement roadmap today. Well, you say, well, I have a 401k. I don't have anything outside my 401k. Can they even help? Yeah, we can at least help you have some understanding about how 401ks work and help you understand the options and the challenges you have inside of it, because then you can address them. So if you look at it and have an active plan to move forward and make your 401k better, that's when it can be successful. So go to the website, lifeplanwealth.com, click on the Start Your Retirement Roadmap Conversation button. If you have that, we'll start having coffee and we'll hear where you are and what you want to do and help you understand how to properly take care of your 401k moving forward and avoid the dogs in your plan.
Also, we have links to the website in the show notes. If it's easier for you to just click on those hyperlinks there, it will take you to that website as well. So, I mean, you're talking about all these things that we can do then, Mike. Can you speak to some experiences of where you've been able to help folks in this space?
Yeah, well, I love working with engineers because to them, finances are very practical,
right?
Not very emotional. And so this guy I'm thinking of specifically, his name's Bob. He came to us out of one of our locations. And as he came in and sat down, I said, hey, Bob, why are you interested in having these conversations? What should we cover? And he said, well, here's what I've been doing for the past 3 years. I took every mutual fund inside my plan, and then I bought them outside my plan. So I went to E-Trade and bought my own version of the exact same 401k. And I've been running them side by side. I said, okay. And he goes, I said, you're such an engineer.
Right, right.
And he's been running them side by side for 3 years. And he goes, the one outside my 401k has significantly outgrown the 401k because the fee structure is so much cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm going through and I'm like, all right, he's doing my job. He's informing himself of the issues. And he's done a good job with it. And I said, so obviously you enjoy doing this outside. Why do you need us? Like, why do you want to have these conversations? He says, anybody can manage fees if you know how to build the spreadsheet. How do I make sense of it all?
Right.
How do I make sure that when I retire, that the income stays around? He goes, when I retire, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm doing it because I'm working. And so I've got the energy, I've got the time. But when I go get on the sailboat, I'm done with this stuff. So then as we started mapping through with him, when are you going to retire? Because he had the great quote of, he says, I don't want to retire today. I just want to know that I could if they talk to me the wrong way.
Got it. Yep.
And so with that, it was a matter of building him out a plan built around it. But so he understood the fees inside. It's not so much about the funds. Sometimes it's the funds. But if you choose the best funds in there, can we find a better way to make it work for you? And so we went through with Bob and we mapped that all out. And then we said, all right, here's how we get you to retirement. And then the day you retire, whether it's tomorrow, a year from now, or 5 years from now, here's how you get paid the rest of the way through. And here's how we make sure that when you're on the boat, the check's still clear and the bank still gets the deposits and the investments still grow. And if the market dips, you're taken care of. So all of those variables that he had been doing. And he said, I'm not a financial guy. I'm an engineer. And it was he worked for a aeronautics company. And as he went through, he's like, no, I get it. I just don't want to do it. And so as we went through building that plan, we were able to identify those issues and make sure that he was set up for retirement.
I feel like 99% of the people that would be listening to this podcast are on Bob's side when it's like, I get it. I just don't want to do it. I want to retire and I don't want to have to continue to do the work.
Yes.
Which is the entire point of employing Mike Douglas and his team. That is what they are here to do and can help you as well. Again, the website, lifeplanwealth.com. Go there, click on the button at the top of the page. It says start your retirement roadmap today. And that is where you can begin the conversation, understanding the road to your retirement and through it as well. Getting the knowledge about your 401k and all the other elements that are involved is what Mike and his team are here to help you figure out. Again, lifeplanwealth.com.
Thanks for listening to Michigan's Retirement Coach with Mike Douglas. To learn more, visit lifeplanwealth.com.
Michael Douglas is an investment advisor representative of Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Michael Douglas is licensed in your state, please call 517-323-7526. Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Michael B. Douglas, NPN number 9650939.